Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon all. First of all, let us give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the grace of health and safety so that we can take part in the learning in this class. The topic that we will discuss is pragmatics. Introduce, my name is Mustofa who will serve as moderator today. I will guide the course of this discussion. The members of my group are Wulan Safitri, Rosa Febiyanti, and Nadya Novita Sari. Alright friends, let's just start with the first session, which is the opening. Let's say Basmalah together. Next is the delivery and presentation of the material. I invite those in charge of reading the material.
What is pragmatic? Pragmatic is the study of how context contributes to meaning. Pragmatic encompasses phenomena including implicator, speech art, relevance, and conversation. What is studied in the pragmatic include speech art, speech implicator, conversational, interaction, and conversational extra factor. Such a diseases. Theory of pragmatic go hand in hand with theory of semantic, which study aspects of meaning which are grammatically or lexics encode. The ability to understand another speaker's meaning is called pragmatic competence. Pragmatic emergent its own subfile in the 1950 after the pioneering work of G.L. Austin and Paul Grace. Next slide is context. Context. On textual meaning is a more functional notion that capture that status of the information that is communicated in the context. It capture a range of meaning effects that share as a common denominator the fact that they are geometry in context, be in the linguistic or the non-linguistic context. Contextual meaning is a specific type of meaning. As I see it, a threefold distinction can be made. See the bird 2014. 1. Context independent semantic. Truth conditional meaning. Second, in context determined fake of truth conditional meaning. Context dependent semantic. And last, in context determined as aspect of non-truth conditional meaning. Context dependent pragmatic. And then there deixis. A deixis expression of deixis is a word of praise such as this, that, there's, those, now, then, here. The point to the time, place, or situation in which a speaker is speaking. Deixis is expressed in English by way of personal pronouns, demonstrative adverb, and tenses. The time's etymology comes from the Greek meaning pointed or show, and its pronunciation dictic. It sounds more complete that it really is, for sure. For example, if you will ask a visiting exchange student, have you been in this country long? The word this country, and you are this expression as they refers to the country where the conversation happened, and the person being addressed in the conversation respectively.
And then the next material is about reference. What is reference? Reference is the act of the speaker or writer using linguistic forms to enable the listener or reader to identify something. The reference depends on the speaker's intention. For example, to refer to something, and on belief, for example. So the listener can determine the speakers. And then next about inference. What is inference? Inference or conclusion is the task of the listener to make inferences in order to have an interpretation meaning with the speakers or the speaker's intention, which shows the process of deciphering the pragmatic meaning of an utterance. To do so, the listener uses additional knowledge to understand what has not been said explicitly or direct delivery. And then next is about anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is the use of an expression whose interpretation depends upon another expression in context, or its antecedent or positance. In a narrower sense, anaphora is the use of an expression that depends specifically upon an antecedent expression, and thus is contrasted with sataphora, which is the use of an expression that depends upon a positance expression. The anaphoric or referring term is called an anaphor. Next is about presupposition. What is presupposition? Presupposition is the shared knowledge possessed by the speaker and speech partner behind a speech act. The similarity of presupposition will facilitate communication, but while differences in presuppositions will hinder communication. Next material is about speech act. What is speech act? In linguistics, a speech act is an utterance defined in terms of a speaker's intention and the effect it has on a listener. Essentially, it is the action that the speaker hopes to provoke in his or her audience. Speech acts might be requests, warning, promise, apologize, greetings, or any number of declarations. Direct speech act. Direct speech act will happen if there is direct relationship between the structure and the function of the utterance. Meanwhile, indirect speech acts will happen if there is indirect relationship between the structure and the function of the utterance. Relationship between the structure and the function of the utterance.
Example of direct speech are the following examples show that the form corresponds with the function. When a declarative is used to make a statement, you wear a seatbelt. 2. An interrogative is used to ask a question. Do you wear a seatbelt? 3. An imperative is used to make a command. Wear a seatbelt. Direct speech are therefore explicitly illustrate the intent meaning the speaker has behind making the utterance. Example of indirect speech are the following examples so that the form does not correspond with the function. When an interrogative is used to make a request, could you pass the salt? 2. A declarative is used to make a request. You are standing in front of the TV. The speaker does not explicitly state the intent meaning behind the utterance. It's the hearer's task to analyze the utterance to understand its meaning. Politeness. Linguistic politeness can be defined as the ways in which language is employed in conversation to show consideration for the feelings and desires of one's interlocutors, to create and uphold interpersonal relationship, so-called politic behavior, and to comply with the rules from what society of one's culture. According to Yult, politeness can be defined as a way to show alertness towards the face of someone else, the face of either that he hears or the speaker is one of several things which have to be conferred by the speaker in making communication.
Number 1. positive politeness. In the positive politeness strategy, the first threatening act is minimized by implicating that the speaker lacks some of the hearer's wants. In so doing this, the positive first wants of the hearer will be fulfilled and the hearer will believe that the speaker is in the same group with him or her. Positive politeness strategies are intended to avoid giving offense by highlighting friend lines. These strategies include juxtaposing criticism with compliments, establishing common ground, and using jokes, nicknames, honorifics, tag questions, special discourse markers, and in-group jargon and slang. Example of positive politeness. Attend to the hearer. You must be hungry. It is a long time since breakfast. How about some lunch? Avoid this disagreement. What is she small? Yes, she's small. Smallish. Not really small, but certainly not very big. Number 2, negative politeness. In negative politeness, the speaker is aimed to fulfill the negative phase wants of the hearer. Thus, negative politeness is characterized by self-effacement, formality and restraint, attention to restricted aspects of the hearer's self-image, and the hearer's want to be unimpaired. Example of negative politeness. Be indirect. I'm looking for a calm. Forgiveness. You must forgive me, but blah 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 blah. Minimize imposition. I just want to ask you if I could use your computer. That was our group presentation. Let's say Alhamdulillah. I as a moderator apologize for the shortcomings and thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.